keep the children safe.
This is CTV News at 6. We're taking you live to Tumbler Ridge now, where a vigil is underway for the victims of the mass shooting. Let's listen in to Premier David Eby.
That's the kind of guy Mr. Dealey is, and that's the kind of decisions that were made on that day. Finn was in the washroom and he has his own horrible story to tell. While the students were waiting in the classroom with Mr. Dealey, there were two smaller kids who had been pulled into the big kids' classroom. And the big kids worked with those children to keep things light. This is terrifying for a little kid. It's terrifying for me. For the young adults who were in that classroom, they spent their time making sure that those small children felt safe, offered snacks, made jokes, kept it light. They put aside their own fear to ensure those kids were looked after. Now, Finn and his dad, they made the unimaginable decision of leaving where they were to see if they could provide assistance. Finn to get out of the washroom, to get back to the classroom. Mr. Dealey seeing a student in distress in the hallway, critically injured, brought that child into the classroom. Mr. Dealey and two students administered first aid to that child, provided that child with comfort and support, all the while the bigger kids in the classroom supporting the smaller kids. You know, I hope that I'm never called on to do with those students who stepped up that day. I hope I'm never called on to do what they had to do. But having spent a couple days here now in Tumbler Ridge, I can tell you that what they did is emblematic of this town. The teachers in that school, every student in that school, who followed the directions of the teachers, who did what they were told to do, what they trained and practiced to do, they saved lives. And in those actions, in those heroic actions, are the seeds of the recovery of this community. Because the future of Tumbler Ridge is in that school. We know that. And I want to promise something to the high school students who are here. I am sure you are anxious about having to go back to that school, and I will promise you that not one of you will ever be forced to go back to that school. We will provide a safe place for you to go to school. And Mr. Dealey asked me, wherever that is, we will work with the school board and we'll make sure that happens, to make sure that his lizard and his fish go to this new place. Because he says it's got to be different, but it also needs to be familiar. Things are going to be different, but there are going to be things that are familiar, and one of those things is the courage and the bravery and the amazing kids, the students, the young adults, the people of Tumbler Ridge. Pray for Maya in the hospital and her family. Pray for the families of the children who didn't come home. We pray for Tumbler Ridge. And we know that better days will come. But for tonight, we remember.
I know that
you've been watching live coverage of the vigil tonight in Tumbler Ridge. The Premier pledging tonight the students of the local high school will never have to go back there. Politicians from all parties standing shoulder to shoulder with people grieving in the small town. Earlier, the vigil heard from the Prime Minister, who you're hearing now, and the Mayor of Tumbler Ridge.
I know that nothing I can say will bring your children home. I know that no words from me or anyone can fill the silence in your homes tonight, and I won't pretend otherwise.
We are a small community, but we are a strong community. We are a family, and in moments like this, families come together.
And that family is much larger tonight as politicians from across Canada gather to honor and pay tribute to the victims of Tuesday's mass shooting. Mi Jung is off tonight. Thank you for joining us. We are learning more about Tuesday's horrific events, including a number of disturbing new details about what happened at the school, the sequence of events, and the weapons used. Here's CTV's Sinjin Alexander with the latest on the police investigation.
Calling it chaotic, when Mounties arrived, they entered the school immediately, alarm sounding.
There was somebody that either leaned out or shouted out a window to our officers. The suspect is upstairs. He's upstairs.
At the top of those stairs, they saw the shooter, where police say they were met with fire.
I can say with confidence that from the moment the suspect encountered police, there were no further injuries to any other students in the school.
Student Amy Lynn says she heard shots, but what seemed like a long pause before hearing more gunfire.
Did you know what was going on in those moments?
Not really, no. We knew that something bad had happened. We heard our principal shouting, lock down the school, lock down the school.
Mounties have released a photo of the shooter, saying too many incorrect photos were being shared online. They confirmed they have seized 4 guns, 2 from the school, 2 from the shooter's home. They do not know the origin of the primary gun.
The suspect was, for lack of a better term, hunting. They were prepared and engaging anybody and everybody they could come in contact with.
As the leaders of all federal parties arrived as one and laid flowers at the scene, BC's Minister of Public Safety vows whatever resources Mounties need for a full investigation, they'll have.
The impact, the ripple effects of this devastating crime will be felt by everyone in every corner of that town.
You lost somebody you knew well. He was only 12 years old. What do you want people to remember about it?
He was a bright kid, you know? Sweetest guy imaginable. He lit up everyone's world. He was very driven. Yeah.
Adding she doesn't know how to move on from this, only that it will take a long time. Sinjin Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
Some of the investigators are digging into the shooter's online presence. There are several purported accounts on different social media platforms and sites, prompting speculation on whether video games and gun culture were a factor. CTV's Penny Daflos now on the investigation and what decades of research tells us about school shooters.
Teens live a big part of their lives online and generally enmesh with technology. Jesse Van Rootselaar was no different.
A specialized team of investigators are also completing a thorough assessment of the suspect's online activity and digital footprint.
That includes the gaming platform Roblox. The company has now removed this simulation designed to be a shopping mall massacre created by Van Rootselaar. It was captured by Roblox Watchdog. The platform is extremely popular with kids, but also widely criticized for not doing enough to ensure child safety.
The effect of video games on real-world violence is minuscule.
With school shootings so prevalent in the U.S., there's been considerable research on the topic and potential warning signs.
Significant changes in a child's behavior. One of the more important factors that we see for school shooters is a combination of having significant social problems in the school or around in the area, as well as having a really deep vested interest in violence or previous shootings.
Students who planned or carried out recent attacks in the U.S. continue to support that finding.
He had an obsession with the Columbine shooting.
Most of Van Rootselaar's online accounts have now been removed. Several posts still visible on her mom's social media accounts depict a family interest in target practice and hunting, including videos Jennifer Jacobs shared online.
Tracing that digital footprint isn't easy. Images and rumors about Rootselaar, who typically went by Jesse Strang, have been flying across the globe from a variety of sources, including anti-trans accounts overseas.
Many false flags and false trails on the internet, a lot of social media that is coming out that is factually inaccurate, a lot of allegations, a lot of photos pertaining to be the suspect, videos, etc., that are not.
As they do their work, this expert predicts there will be no simple answer.
Whenever shooters are looked at, there's complicated, multiple, sometimes even generational reasons why these things happen.
Penny Defloss, CTV News, Vancouver.
It's every parent's worst nightmare. Their child goes to school and never returns. Tonight we hear from the father of 12-year-old Abel Mwansa Jr., one of 5 students killed on Tuesday. CTV's Kevin Chirac has more from the grieving father and how people across the country are paying tribute to the victims.
What do you want to become when you grow up?
A musician.
He had an infectious smile ear to ear.
I'll miss everything about Abel. When you look at Abel, even without saying anything to you, the only thing that you see are his teeth. He always used to smile.
The Mwansa family moved to Canada from Zambia 3 years ago on a temporary work permit. Abel Jr. remembered as a good brother, ambitious, and someone always willing to lend a hand.
Some of them will say, oh, he was teaching my son how to ride a bicycle, how to skate, how to move on rollerblades. He was doing that. He was stopping a fight. So I want him to be remembered as a good boy.
Along with Abel, 12-year-old Takaria Lampert, 13-year-old Ezekiel Schofield, 39-year-old educator Shonda Avugana Durand, 12-year-old Zoe Benoit, and 12-year-old Kylie Smith also killed at the school. 11-year-old Emmett Jacobs, the shooter's stepbrother, and 39-year-old Jennifer Jacobs, their mother, were shot to death in the family home. 19-year-old Paige Hoekstra, who was shot in the chest, is recovering in hospital, and the father of 12-year-old Maya Edmonds shot in the head and being treated at BC Children's Hospital, telling CTV News there's no developments as she continues fighting for her life.
I'm sitting here thinking about Maya.
Tributes are pouring in.
These things eat at your bones and drive your young mind crazy.
Like this song posted by 13-year-old Cairo on Vancouver Island. This woman in Smithers pinning a teddy bear on her front door. And all the way in small-town Northern Ontario.
So they thought it would be a nice gesture to dedicate something to Tumbler Ridge.
A grade 7-8 class made up of students the same age as some of the Tumbler Ridge victims turned a day of snow sculpting into a show of support.
And when I went into the class on Thursday, the tragedy just happened. I showed the kids we were going to do this, or would you rather do a tribute, a dedication to Tumbler Ridge? And they all voted unanimously right off the bat. Can we do the one for Tumbler Ridge?
Messages of support honoring the lives lost. Kevin Chirac, CTV News.
Services are ready to help people in need in Tumbler Ridge and across the province. If you need support, you can call the BC Bereavement or National Crisis Lines. There are also services dedicated to young people, including Kids Help Phone and Foundry BC. Police in Surrey are warning the public about a high-risk sex offender who poses a significant threat to women and children. CTV's Lauren Pullen is following this in the Breaking News Centre.
Nafisa, 58-year-old Marinus Willems is set to be released this coming Tuesday, February 17th. Surrey police are releasing his photo and letting residents know that he will be living in the city. He's 5'11", 225 pounds with brown hair and blue eyes. Willems will be under strict conditions, and several of them when he's released, including a 10 p.m. curfew and a ban on weapons and drugs. He is also not allowed to enter parks, playgrounds, schools, swimming pools, daycares, or community centers. Police say he also cannot possess any nylons, pantyhose, or any other items that could be used for restraint. Willems will be electronically monitored, and Surrey police will be tracking his compliance. Any suspected breaches, if you see him have any breaches, rather, you should call 911 immediately. Nafisa.
Thank you, Lauren. After the break, day of action. Vancouver police brace for a massive protest as thousands show support for the people of Iran. But first,
we're in serious times. This is serious budget.
Why BC's finance minister says she's going to be the most unpopular person in the province for a while. When CTV News continues, stay with us. A peek from our camera at the top of Grouse Mountain. Caroline, we are on the doorstep of the long weekend. A lot of people want to know what you're serving up.
Well, you're going to like it.
Okay.
Yay, I love when I get to deliver some good news when it comes to the forecast. First, let's take a look at the current temperatures. Pretty decent out there right now. 5 in Vancouver, 4 in Burnaby, 5 in Abbotsford. We are going to cool down overnight, though. But then, would you look at what we have in store tomorrow? Yes, we've got some showers overnight into tomorrow morning. We're going to have a cloudy start, but then a mix of sun and cloud. And would you just look at Sunday? Nothing but sunshine. Temperatures hovering right around average for this time of year. But can I say the word sunshine anymore? Sunshine.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Explore the endless possibilities at one of our 36 BC locations. Learn more at expediacruises.ca.
So, Nafisa, we've got a little bit more showers coming in tonight overnight, but we've got a nice start to the long weekend.
All right, glad to hear it. Thank you, Caroline. Well, now to an update on the Patello Bridge closure. TransLink says the bridge will now be permanently closed to all traffic, but the new Stalo-Awesome Bridge will be fully open to drivers starting tomorrow. All 4 lanes on the new span are slated to open at 8 a.m. This comes as the Patello was originally scheduled to reopen to traffic today. TransLink says the old bridge will remain open to pedestrians and cyclists until Tuesday. A major deficit for the provincial government has set the stage for what's expected to be a tough budget day. Many are anxiously waiting to see where the axe will fall on Tuesday. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more.
With a projected deficit of more than $11 billion, the finance minister has warned that Tuesday's budget could be rough.
I'm going to be the least popular person in the province for a while. This is a tough budget, right? We're in serious times. This is a serious budget.
Brenda Bailey hasn't revealed which sectors will see cuts. Healthcare costs eat up a third of the provincial spending, but with ER closures and lengthy wait times top of mind for many people, drastic cuts may be a tough sell.
We've heard some conflicting opinions from government on what to expect.
Paul Finch, the president of the BC GEU, who represents roughly 95,000 public and private sector employees, says they're eagerly awaiting to see just how severe the cuts could be.
The Minister of Finance talking to the Board of Trade. Obviously, that was slightly alarming. We're concerned we were looking at an austerity budget, and in the face of really government spending that's remained constant at about 18.4% of GDP for the last 20 years.
With many small businesses continuing to struggle financially, the BC BIA is calling for more public safety efforts to deal with non-violent repeat offenders.
It is a massive problem in BC that has not been effectively addressed.
They're calling for more mental health and addiction services, as well as stricter consequences for those who continue to offend the law.
Prosecutorial guideline reform, looking at any other justice reform opportunities for non-violent repeat offenders, which is costing our province and our businesses tens of millions of dollars every year.
As we head into the weekend, many anxiously await to see where the red ink will be slashed. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
Returning now to that remarkable show of unity and support tonight in Tumbler Ridge. Politicians putting their differences aside to honor the victims of Tuesday's shooting. CTV's Andrew Johnson is live in Tumbler Ridge where that vigil has just wrapped up. Andrew.
Nafisa, it was an incredibly powerful evening, incredibly moving, and also incredibly upsetting. Given what happened here Tuesday, but the show of unity from the Prime Minister, federal leaders, the Premier, in front of hundreds who turned out, it really came through how much all of Canada has united around this small northern BC town. Let's take a listen to Prime Minister Mark Carney.
I know that nothing I can say will bring your children home. I know that no words from me or anyone can fill the silence in your homes tonight, and I won't pretend otherwise. But I, the leader of the opposition, the leader of all the federal parties, wanted you to hear, not from Ottawa, not through a screen, but standing here together in your home, the Canadians are with you, and we will always be with you. And when we leave here tonight, and some of you go back to quiet houses, some of you go back to empty rooms, please know that you're not alone. Vous n'êtes pas seul. When you wake up tomorrow and the world feels impossible, know that millions of Canadians are with you. When the cameras leave and the quiet sets in, know that we still will be here. And know that we shall need you too. Because Canada is a community that relies on each other's grace. And may that grace bless us all.
That's Prime Minister Mark Carney. Then Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre came to the stage and thanked the Prime Minister for showing grace and inviting the other federal leaders to this event, to this town today, and also said, today there are no Liberals, there are no Conservatives, there are no NDP, there are no Greens, there is no Bloc Québécois. Everyone on that plane was mothers and fathers. And he read a poem before Premier David Eby told a story about what happened inside the school on Tuesday and the actions of some of the children helping other children in lockdown, and said the future for this town looks bright based on the actions of those young people, because that is the future of Tumbler Ridge. He talked about older students being locked in a classroom with younger students, and it was particularly scary for the younger students. So the older ones were taking care of them, giving them snacks, trying to look out for them while they themselves were in lockdown during a school shooting. The courageous actions of those teens certainly won't be forgotten, and neither will the strength of this community, which through it's grieving publicly in front of the world, dozens of media here. And now the Prime Minister, the federal leaders and the Premier have made it clear Canadians are with them. And as they go forward in their grief, which of course is going to take a long time to heal. Nafisa?
Andrew Johnson live in Tumbler Ridge tonight. Thank you for your coverage, Andrew. Vancouver police are ramping up their presence downtown this weekend in anticipation of large-scale protests planned for Saturday. The VPD says as many as 30,000 people could converge on David Lamb Park in Yaletown for the Global Day of Action, a coordinated series of protests against the current Iranian regime. It's one of 5 protests planned for the downtown core Saturday. Police are sending dozens of extra officers on bikes, vehicles, and on foot to help manage the crowds. Well, who remembers this news conference moment?
So this is what I think about Crown Royal. That's what they could do.
Well, that's Ontario Premier Doug Ford back in September pouring out a bottle of Crown Royal after the announcement that an Ontario bottling plant was being shuttered. We'll show you why he's putting Crown back on the shelves. Welcome back. The growing affordability crisis in the U.S. ahead of November's midterm elections might offer Canada some relief from crushing American tariffs. U.S. media is reporting Donald Trump may scale back tariffs on steel and aluminum. But as CTV's Joy Malbin reports, that might just be wishful thinking.
Every chance he gets, the U.S. president trumpets his tariffs.
The economy is doing unbelievable. We right now have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
But he's battling the cost of living crisis in America and low approval ratings before the midterm elections. The Financial Times reporting the Trump administration may be having a rethink about those steep steel and aluminum tariffs that could affect Canada.
I don't think it's great reporting that we saw today. If anything is done, I think it would be sort of clarification on some incidental objects. But again, that's going to be the president's decision.
Canadian metals were slapped with a 50% tariff early this year, justified as a national security crisis. Canada retaliated, but this tit-for-tat tariff blitz has led to higher costs for consumers, paying more for groceries, electronics, cans, and cars. The American Nonpartisan Tax Foundation reports that tariffs will cost the average U.S. household $1,300 more in 2026.
There's definitely pressure because it is hitting different markets, and we're seeing that in the auto sector as well. Like Ford's earnings last week were dismal. So it's a situation where tariffs don't always work.
Even if the president is considering rolling back tariffs on steel and aluminum, here's what he posted just 2 days ago. Canada has taken advantage of the United States on trade for many years. They are among the worst in the world to deal with.
U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer said there likely won't be a rollback of the tariffs, more of a clarification or possible exemption on certain items like refrigerators and washers. But then again, it's the president's call. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford will no longer be pulling Crown Royal products off shelves in his province after the company committed millions in new investments.
So this is what I think about Crown Royal. That's what they could do.
That was Ford back in September after the company decided to close a bottling plant and move some jobs to the U.S. But now the manufacturer of the spirit will be putting $23 million into Ontario, avoiding Crown Royal from being pulled from Ontario shelves. The company also says it's committed to exploring options for a new canning facility in the province. After the break, we'll take you to the Winter Games where Team Canada came through with a key hockey victory. Plus,
how's it going, buddy? It's been great. You get to meet a lot of the other families, the parents, their friends, their families.
An Italian palazzo, but make it Canada. We'll show you the taste of home that's been set up for Canadian athletes and their families, complete with an outdoor rink. We'll be right back. The men's hockey team has booked their spot in the quarterfinals after another dominant performance in the round robin. Connor McDavid had a goal and 2 assists, and Vancouver's Macklin Celebrini scored his second goal of the tournament in Canada's 5-1 victory over Switzerland. Canada has outscored their opponents 10-1 through 2 games and will close out the round robin Sunday morning against France. Well, there's a unique gathering place for Canadian athletes and their families at the Winter Games. It's a home away from home where every detail reflects this country and our passion for winter sports. CTV's Heather Butts takes us to the Canadian Ice Palazzo in Milan.
In the heart of Milan is a place that feels like home for Canadians. The Hockey Canada Ice Palazzo is a community hub for Team Canada hockey players, speed skaters, figure skaters, and their families.
All in one venue. So we don't do things together very often. And it's great to be able to work with the other sports, and that's one of the beauty things of the Olympics. It really does provide those opportunities to do things together.
The red carpet entranceway, complete with Italian mosaics shaped with a maple leaf design, celebrates Olympic champions in all ice sports.
It's really honoring people spanning several decades, actually, here.
Absolutely.
Traditionally, the Canadian Olympic Committee puts up a Canada House, but faced challenges with the games so widespread. With Milan hosting hockey, speed skating, and figure skating, those organizations saw this as a natural fit.
This is our theater room. Come on in, Heather. We put the director's chairs at the front for people to be able to sit in the director's chairs and watch the event. And then really tried to decorate the walls again to celebrate historic Canadian champions.
Every detail and activity has been carefully thought out to promote fun and family engagement, right down to the hockey helmets.
Walk outside and there's an expansive courtyard complete with a skating rink. Rory, the son of hockey player Natalie Spooner, skating his heart out all afternoon.
Obviously, we want to win gold, but at the same time, I think our families have had a huge impact on us in making sure that we get here. So in a sense, this is also a space for them to be able to enjoy the Olympics.
A space for families to unite.
How's it going, buddy?
Like hockey player Bo Horvat's parents.
It still kind of seems surreal, actually. We're just thrilled that he made the team.
It's been great. You get to meet a lot of the other families, the parents, their friends, their families. And they all, just like the team, they all gel together and everybody's having a really good time.
We're being followed by the next Canadian superstar here. He's ready to roll.
Here, kids can play while the athletes live the Olympic dream.
I would call it an investment in Canadians. So as we looked at it from a Hockey Canada perspective, we said, how do we invest in sport and make families feel they're part of something?
Heather Butts, CTV News, Milan.
Well, Caroline, I wouldn't mind checking out that Ice Palazzo, but I am stuck here for this long weekend, and so are thousands of other people. So what do we have in store?
It's not a bad weekend, Nafisa. How's that for some good news for once in the forecast? All right, let's take a look at it. This frontal system that has been bringing in all of these unsettled conditions and wet weather is on the way out. Yes, there will be a little bit of showers tonight and into tomorrow morning, but come the afternoon, look at that, a mix of sun and clouds, some sunny breaks and clearing, and a delightful Sunday ahead. But first, before we get to Sunday, let's talk about the current. So if you haven't already experienced any showers in your area now, you will. It's on the way. And then clearing, and then get a little bit more overnight and into tomorrow morning. But then we see that mix of sun and cloud, and into Sunday, nothing but sunshine. But before we get to the sunshine, we have to get through the forecast for tomorrow. So let's take a look. Port Hardy, there's some showers in the morning, and that will clear. High of 7 degrees. Camp River, Comox, same. We're going to have some morning showers and a high of 7 degrees, and then a mix of sun and cloud. Mix of sun and cloud in Tofino and Port Alberni. Mainly cloudy skies in Nanaimo, Gulf Islands, and Victoria. Victoria will see a high of 8 degrees. As for the Sunshine Coast, again, this is kind of what I've been saying all night long. Once the morning showers clear, you're going to see a mix of sun and cloud, while as on the sea to sky, you're going to see mainly cloudy skies. Now let's take a look at the lower mainland, where we're going to see highs between 6 and 7 degrees. Again, say it with me, friends. Once the morning showers clear, you are going to see a mix of sun and cloud. And then look at Sunday. Nothing but sunshine. Monday, we do have some clouds in the forecast. Tuesday, Wednesday, though, things get interesting midweek. Now, there's a chance of flurries. Higher elevations, City of Vancouver may see a bit of that. Thursday, we do have a mix of sun and cloud. And then Friday, again, a chance of some mixing. So later on in the week, things get very interesting in terms of the temperature. They drop, but we'll see a little bit of flurries, but let's focus on this weekend, shall we? A mix of sun and cloud tomorrow and nothing but sunshine on Sunday. CTV weather is brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So we've got a kind of a mixed bag in that next 7 days, Nafisa, but let's focus on the flurries later. Yeah. Let's talk about the sunshine that we're going to have this weekend.
Yeah, we'll get through the weekend first. Yeah. Thanks, Caroline. Well, after the break, would you pay $30 for a cup of coffee? We'll show you a pricey cup of joe, and you can decide for yourself. Plus, between the pipes.
I probably haven't skated in like 30 years, maybe.
We'll introduce you to the goalie of the Victoria Canucks, a blind hockey team at the forefront of a growing sport.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch, a calm day in English Bay. This view from Kitts Beach with some snow-capped peaks in the distance under an overcast sky.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 73 cents to the American dollar. Oil was up 5 cents, closing the day at $62.89 U.S. a barrel. Gold gaining nearly $98 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones both finished the day up higher, up 608 points and 48 points, respectively. A Vancouver-based coffee chain has announced it will soon shut down operations in the coming months. Matchstick Coffee posted on social media this morning it will be closing the doors to its 4 Vancouver cafes. The Yaletown, Main Street, and Fraser Street locations will all be shutting down in the coming weeks. Plans for the closure of the Davie Street location are still being finalized. The company has been operating in Vancouver since 2012. A coffee company near Boston is getting a lot of attention for one pricey cup of joe. It's described as the champagne of coffee. A single cup at George Howell Roastery will cost you $24 US. That's about $32 Canadian. The roastery says the beans come from a region in Panama known for producing a rare variety called Esmeralda. The shop only has about 40 pounds of it and says drinking this coffee is meant to be more like sampling a fine wine. Okay. Well, while the world's eyes turn to Olympic hockey in Italy, a new squad of skaters is taking to the ice on Vancouver Island. The Victoria Canucks blind hockey team launched in October, hoping to grow the sport and make it more accessible for everyone. Well, the game is slightly different, with larger pucks made out of metal and filled with ball bearings, so players can hear where the puck is. The Canucks have received funding from their namesake in Vancouver, as well as the Canucks for Kids Fund.
They have actually given us the rights to their iconic flying skate logo. They added the words blind hockey underneath and allowed us to rebrand both our Victoria and Vancouver programs as Canucks Blind Hockey.
There are more than 20 blind hockey programs available for Canadians of all ages across the country. Well, after the break, meet Leo.
He was at 95 pounds when the program started.
He's a very good but a very big boy, but he's working on it. We'll show you a new weight care program that's for the dogs. Plus, Backpack Bunny. Adam finds out the story behind an adventurous rabbit named Toffee Cleopatra next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
What are the long-term impacts of winters without enough snow? Tuesday on Your Morning Vancouver, what experts are saying and the areas that will be hit the hardest. Also, we're looking ahead to the Lunar New Year, the meaning of the Year of the Horse, and some food traditions to enjoy. We're back Tuesday. Have a great long weekend.
An Indigenous boxing event is returning to Metro Vancouver for the first time in more than 20 years. Participants spoke to the media today about what buckskin gloves revival means to them.
The fact that we're bringing back the buckskin gloves in a better spirit and having a platform for our Indigenous athletes is something that I never had as an athlete, so I'm very excited.
Canadian light heavyweight champion Junior Moore will be a special guest at the tournament, which is returning next Friday at the River Rock Casino. It was founded at North Vancouver's St. Paul's Residential School in 1949 as a way to celebrate Indigenous identity. The revival will open the ring to a new generation while honoring residential school survivors. Most of us would do anything so our pets live long and healthy lives, and sometimes that means managing their weight. And that is why the Ontario Veterinary College has a weight care program, helping pets shed some pounds in a healthy and safe way. CTV's Spencer Turcotte has the story of one dog's journey.
7-year-old Leo is as lovable and carefree as golden retrievers get. You'd never guess he's had a rough road with his health.
He started having kidney issues. I had to be very specific with his diet. So that kind of started his journey when it came to weight care and everything, and then he got hit with multicentric lymphoma.
He went through radiation and chemo, leading to reduced activity, and after a while, his owners realized he had packed on some pounds.
He was at 100 pounds. People around us were saying, like, oh, he's gained a lot of weight.
So it was time for Leo to buckle down, eat cleaner, hit the gym. Sounds silly for a dog, right? Not so. Leo was referred to the Ontario Veterinary College's weight care program.
There, good job. The more weight they bear on their joints, the more stress that causes in their joints.
Extra weight can also lead to bigger problems like diabetes, urinary disorders, and skin diseases. Not only did the college offer Leo a tailored diet plan, they laid out a workout plan too. Something Leo has been a big fan of.
Every time we drop him off for his workout, he pulls us to the pool and just cannot wait to jump in and does not want to ever get out.
It seems to have paid off with major improvements in his arthritis and mobility. His hard work is showing up on the scale.
82 pounds even.
You're such a skinny dog now. You're so healthy.
And while Leo is getting closer to his goal weight of 75 pounds, maybe the most rewarding part of it all is he has an energy level his family hasn't seen in years. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Guelph.
Swimming and running on a treadmill. That dog's going to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah, almost halfway to his goal weight, so he's getting there.
Good for Leo. What a sweet boy.
I want to work out with Leo.
I know, right? We could all be so lucky. It is time for Friday Feelgoods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver.
Here are 3 things worth checking out.
Light up your love life this Valentine's Day at Capilano Suspension Bridge. Millions of twinkling pink and red lights will illuminate the park, creating the perfect backdrop for a night out with loved ones. Snap a romantic selfie, stroll along the cliff walk, or treat your Valentine to some limited edition drinks and bites.
Ring in the Lunar New Year a few days early. You can do that as well. That's coming up next. It's going to be a good one. It's the annual Lunar Fest Vancouver Festival. People of all backgrounds are welcome to kick off the year of the horse with music, crafts, and storytelling. Events will be held at several locations across the city until the end of the month. I love these feel goods.
Yeah, that looks fun.
Yeah, I love these feel goods.
If Leah wasn't enough to make you feel good, you've got one more for us.
I do. And if you spot any hobbits, vampires, or superheroes downtown over the next few days, don't worry about it. They're probably just heading to the Fan Expo. Thousands of visitors are expected to flock to the Vancouver Convention Centre for one of BC's biggest pop culture events. Guests can expect workshops, how-to panels, shopping, and plenty of artists and celebrities. I love how people get so into this.
You just be walking down the street and you see a stormtrooper and you're like, oh, must be Fan Expo.
A lot of fun activities this weekend. I love it. I want to check them all out.
Lots to do. And if you have any events you would like us to highlight, you can email your tips to ctvfeelgoods@ctv.ca. We need those feel goods because we've got a lot going on in the news right now. And Lauren, what are you looking ahead to tonight for 11:30?
Well, Nafisa, we will have more from tonight's vigil in Tumbler Ridge, where loved ones of the victims, the community, provincial and federal political leaders and beyond all came together, remembering those 8 victims whose lives were tragically taken in Tuesday's mass shooting. So we'll have a full wrap of all that unfolded there tonight at 11:30.
Thank you, Lauren. Well, in White Rock, days are never dull for one woman and her 4-legged friend. With a special backpack and an impressive wardrobe, the Adventurous pair is spreading joy in the community. Adam explains in tonight's Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
Before she started walking with a bunny in her backpack, Armida Ortega was hoping to find the perfect pup.
It is too big, it's too small, too old, and we never got a dog.
And never considered adopting a bunny because they were too timid. Until at an animal shelter, she happened upon Toffee.
Every time we approached the cage, she came. And she was like, pick me up, you know.
So Armida picked the rescue rabbit up and quickly realized she never wanted to let Toffee go.
I was so happy because, I can play with the bunny, right?
Well, Toffee is playful. When Armida brought her home, she discovered the bunny's also headstrong and nicknamed her Cleopatra.
I make the face like this, and sometimes I open the door in the bedroom and she's there in the bed, like she owns the bed.
When she wasn't reigning over the dining room rug or claiming the carpet while watching TV, Toffee Cleopatra seemed increasingly curious about expanding her territory outside.
She goes very excited, and I open the door and she just ran inside to the garden.
Toffee liked it so much, Armida started buying clothes to keep the bunny warm no matter the weather, which inspired her husband to build a mini wardrobe to organize a collection of outfits for all sorts of occasions.
The butterfly swings, Halloween, Ukraine colors.
Although, when Armida started carrying Toffee further afield, like to this nearby beach, the bunny would simply wear her birthday suit and stretch out like a sovereign of sand.
And it's when I say we should buy a backpack.
It took the bunny a couple days to start jumping into the backpack on her own, Armida says. But now that she does, they go for regular walks together, where Toffee finds patches of land to preside and people to inspire.
You are so cute. She is just absolutely darling. It made me smile. Oh my gosh.
And Toffee Cleopatra makes Armida feel grateful every day that instead of finding the dog she thought she wanted, she discovered the adventurous rabbit she really needed. Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, White Rock.
The Sawatsky sign-off, brought to you by
CapitalDirect.ca. Let's make your vision a reality with Capital Direct. Call and talk to our team today.
Bunny in a backpack, bunny on a leash, bunny in a dress. I don't think it gets much better than that.
Leo on a treadmill with bunny in a backpack. And it's a great day to take your rabbit on the seawall tomorrow.
Funny that you mentioned that. Yes, it is. After the morning showers clear, we've got a beautiful day ahead, a mix of sun and cloud. But can I just direct your attention to Sunday, please? Nothing but sunshine. Yeah, Monday we get some clouds, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's a risk of flurries. But we'll deal with that later in the week. But right now, just focus on the sunshine over the weekend. Let's also focus on the scenic snapshot, shall we? Thank you, BJ, for sending this in from Pitt Lake. If you want your photo featured, email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
A lot of people can get out there this weekend, take more scenic snapshots for us, preferably with a bunny in a backpack if you can manage it. You can stay up late and catch Lauren at 11:30. Me, Jen, will be back on Tuesday, and from all of us here, have a safe and happy long weekend.
Good night.